Zelensky's prolonged presidency proves Americans were sold a lie on Ukraine. I told y'all it was a lie from get-go. I told y'all that. They say, oh, we need to preserve democracy and all these other stuff. And and first off, we are protecting Nazis, literal Nazis. I've been saying it for years. We know that not Nazis really run Ukraine. That's the first thing. The second thing, if it's a democracy, first off, democracy is mob rule. Anyway, I could go on about what democracy really is. The United States is not a democracy. We're a republic. But anyway, I'm not going to dwell on that too much right now, because this is not what this story is about. It's about how Zelensky is continue to be in office and postpone elections. So he's not really the president of Ukraine. Ukraine really technically doesn't have a president right now, but he's just seizing control because he got rid of the elections because of the quote unquote war. And this is just ridiculous. Also, Zelensky went in, we know what he went in and did to the Christian churches and stuff like that. It's just despicable. Money laundering going on there. We give them billions of dollars for war and the money never sees it. We got for instance, on one of the fronts, it was supposed to be given money to protect one of the war fronts, and it's wide open. Russia can literally just walk right across there because the money they never received the money there. It's just corruption on top of corruption on top of corruption, and we continue to fund this endless war that's going on right now. So we're gonna talk a little bit about that. And we're going to talk about the lie of Ukraine. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button. Share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. And hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon. That's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. All right, so let's talk about this news. Now, this comes from the Federalist, from Jordan Boyd. And he reports that U.S. elites often hail Ukraine as a lone bulwark of democracy in the authoritarian wasteland that is Eastern Europe. President Vladimir Zelensky's decision to extend his expiring presidential term by keeping the country under martial law, however, is far from the tidy narrative of Ukrainian democratic behavior the American ruling class and their allies in the corporate media have tried to sell U.S. taxpayers. Again, so it's a democracy with no elections, right? According to the president of Ukraine official website, the Eastern European country's leader is supposed to be, quote, elected by the citizens of Ukraine on the basis of universal, equal, and direct suffrage by means of secret ballot for 5 years. Zelensky, who first came into power in 2019, was due for another vote this spring. Instead of slogging through an election that his rapidly declining approval rating might mar, Zelensky opted to extend his term indefinitely because he will lose. The Ukraine people are tired of war. They don't want this war, and he knows this. So he has to claim martial law and postpone the elections. Quote, Ukraine doesn't need to prove anything about democracy to anyone because Ukraine and its people are proving it through their war. What? Zelensky declared in New York Times article headline, "What's the problem? Zelensky challenges West over hesitations." Just ridiculous. So if that's the case, stop taking our money then. Stop coming with your hand out asking for more money. Zelensky's fundamentally anti-democratic decision earned the blessing of U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken, of course, who suggested the election should not commence until all Ukrainians, including the displaced by Russia's aggression, can vote. American corporate media were also quick to defend Zelensky's prolonged rule, saying, quote, saying an election is something Ukrainians have little appetite for. Are you serious? Are you serious now? For more than 2 years, the people running the U.S. government justified throwing billions of American tax dollars at the Russia-Ukraine conflict by claiming it's necessary to defeat Russia and defend democracy. We're defending democracy by shutting down voting. Yeah, that sounds about right. They routinely ignored and even tried to silence those who warned that Zelensky regime is corrupt in favor of amplifying suspiciously optimistic and hollow rhetoric about sending more money so Ukraine could send Vladimir Putin packing. Yahoo Finance reassured its readers that much of the money flowing to the now proxy war with no definable end will, quote, pass through the U.S. economy first. Another lie. We had like Victoria Nuland, the war hawk architect behind all of this herself. She was the previous undersecretary for Biden. She's continuing to push this war and talking about and trying to lie and say, well, we're actually making money from this war because the people that make these weapons are making more weapons, which means it's more jobs and all this other bull crap. That's not really true. So how is by giving billions of dollars to another country going to make us more money? That's a lie. But anyway, the article goes on to say, by that, Yahoo aims to affirm Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell's belief that funneling funds to Ukraine through warmongering defense companies like Boeing, this is what I was just alluding to, like Boeing and Lockheed Martin, is good for Americans. Again, Virginia Nuland had the exact same line. An overwhelming number of the taxpayers funding this venture, however, say any big spending should go to securing their country's compromised border, not Ukraine. And that's my sentiment. We're spending billions of dollars protecting other people's borders while our borders is wide open. It makes absolutely no sense to anyone that's paying attention. The same politicians and media mouthpieces gnashing their teeth about former President Donald Trump's First Amendment protected speech about election shenanigans are calling for more money, more support, and more TV time and PR for a guy whose presence in power is currently guaranteed by martial law alone. Quote, Ukraine still shutters churches, and I was alluding to that too. They're I haven't read this article beforehand. I'm just reading it live as we go along here. But I know what's going on in Ukraine. I've been talking about it for years now. And they're closing. What does churches have to do with anything? They're attacking the Christian faith. It's just corruption on top of corruption, money laundering, all that stuff. But Ukraine still shutters churches and restricts the free press. Federalist senior editor David Harsanyi noted last year, quote, maybe you believe those are justifiable actions during wartime, but under no definition are they liberal. Ukraine has never been a functioning democracy. Facts. If you go by their definition of democracy, anyway. But Zelensky's overstaying his welcome without the consent of Ukrainian voters makes clear now more than ever that Americans were sold a lie about the reason billions of their hard-earned tax dollars are still up for grabs to sustain an overseas war. Again, we all know it's a lie. There's a war lust that's happening right now. That's why we have war all over the world right now, and it's crazy. And again, it's not going to get any better until we get Biden out of office and we stop sending our money overseas to these foreign entities or foreign countries. But let me know what you think about this. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, subscribe, and check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.